A judge barred Southern California couple from contacting the 13 children they are charged with beating, shackling and starving in their home. The couple's attorney did not oppose the ruling. The parents are accused of keeping their 13 children ages 2 to 29 in filthy conditions, chaining some to their beds. Each parent faces 94 years to life in prison if convicted on more than 24 charges, including torture. Venezuela's presidential election race has begun with incumbent Nicolas Maduro signing a nationalist anti-Trump campaign. Critics of the 55-year-old Maduro, who succeeded Hugo Chavez in 2013, say he has ruined a once prosperous oil economy, turned Venezuela into a dictatorship, and skewed the election system. The president's approval ratings have plunged during a crushing 4-year recession caused by failed state economic policies such as decade-old currency controls and the fall of global prices of oil since 2014. Nearly 4 years after Russia annexed Crimea and promised its 2 million people a better life, the Russian military teaching local school children to plant and defuse landmines and the intricacies of improvised explosive devices. School children were encouraged to investigate the workings of landmines and improvised explosive devices, including suicide vests and disguised bombs. Residents support this move and said military training was a necessity for local children and would help foster a greater sense of patriotism. An international delegation advising Myanmar and a group of media toured a refugees holding camp near the Bangladesh border. The site will serve as a temporary holding area for returnees as they are to go through a final verification process by Myanmar authorities before being sent to refugee camps in another area. Bangladesh has delayed the repatriation of the largely stateless Rohingyas to Myanmar as the process of compiling and verifying the list of people to be sent back was incomplete. An anti-graft body backed by the Organization of American States has accused the Honduran Congress of blocking its investigation into a corruption racket that allegedly involves high-level officials. The anti-graft body says that a recently passed budget law will prevent the prosecutor's office from investigating and charging dozens of possible suspects involved in a graft scheme. Honduras has been roiled by deadly protests following a disputed presidential election, which the center-left opposition has accused Hernandez of stealing. USA gymnastics team Dr. Larry Nassar was sentenced to 40 to 175 years in prison for molesting young female gymnasts. The sentencing comes after testimonies from about 160 of his victims, including Olympic medalist Larry Nassar, pleaded guilty in November to 7 counts of first-degree sex assault. He is already serving a 60-year sentence in federal prison for child pornography convictions. Indonesia's President Joko Widodo is in the Sri Lankan capital of Colombo for a 2-day visit. Meeting his counterpart, President Maithripala Sirisena, the two leaders are expected to sign a series of economic agreements. The Indonesian president is expected to meet the Sri Lankan Prime Minister today. The French Riviera city of Nice is pilot testing a mobile phone app that will allow people to record and report crimes to local police in a matter of seconds. The app is called Reporty and is being tested by 2,000 volunteers. The traditional right-wing city is already equipped with more surveillance cameras than any other French city. The city has stepped up security measures since an Islamist terrorist killed more than 80 people of Nice's Palm Line Sea Promenade in 2016. A Brazilian appeals court voted 3-0 to uphold a corruption conviction for former Brazilian President Lula da Silva. This is a major blow to his plans to run for president again this year. The unanimous decision reduces Lula's options to appeal the conviction, and he will likely be declared ineligible if he tries to register his candidacy for the October 7th elections. The court also increased his sentence from 9 to 12 years in prison for receiving a bribe from an engineering company vying for government contracts during his 2003 to 2010 presidency. Bolivians are crowding the steep cobbled streets of La Paz these days to pay homage to the Andean god of abundance. They load down colorful Iquico statues with tiny items representing prosperity. This is a time when Bolivians like to buy trinkets representing their wishes for the new year in the hope Iquico will make them come true. Google is celebrating English novelist Virginia Woolf's 136th birthday today with a doodle. She widely regarded as one of the most distinguished literary figures of the 20th century. Her works include modernist classics such as Mrs. Dalloway and To the Lighthouse, as well as feminist texts like A Room of One's Own. Condemning fake news as satanic, Pope Francis said people should unmask manipulative snake tactics that instigate division and interest. Comparing fake news to snake in the Garden of Eden, Francis said fake news is a sign of intolerant and hypersensitive attitudes and leads only to the spread of arrogance and hatred. India's biggest airlines have joined the Modi government's ambitious UDAN scheme. The Aviation Ministry on Wednesday said Indigo and Jet Airways have been awarded 325 routes in the second round of UDAN bidding. UDAN is an initiative by the government to connect the country's underserved and unserved airports. At least 2 terrorists were killed on Wednesday in an encounter with the security forces in Shopian district of Jammu and Kashmir. 1 local resident was also killed in the ceasefire, while 2 women sustained injuries. Security forces have launched cordon and search operations in the area. As a much talked about film Padmavat releases today, protesters have gone on a rampage demanding a ban on the release of the movie. The protesters of the Karni Sena attacked the school bus in Gurugram with kids inside it on Wednesday. The protesters also set a Haryana Roadways bus on fire on Gurugram's Sona Road. They also pelted stones at 1 more bus and a police vehicle. Section 144 has also been imposed in the city. India's Mashobra Valley experienced more rainfall. Shimla received the year's first snowfall yesterday, leading to a severe dip in the temperatures. According to the weather department, Mashobra and Shimla can expect more snowfall over the next 2 to 3 days.